Hi, everybody, and welcome to our FIX interview with our master's program recipients. We're going to have a lot of fun today talking to each of our scholarship recipients from FIX and talk a little bit about their experience, what they gained from their master's degree, and a little bit of insight from the student perspective. So, Chris, I'm going to start with you today. Tell us a little bit
Yes, ma'am.
about your scholarship. What did you choose? Which focus?
Mine was the master's in strength and human performance through Parker University, and I began mine February of 2022.
Mhm. And how did you now? I know that Parker has the most amazing performance center on campus. Have you had a chance to see that or see pictures of it or images of it?
Well, actually, I did not because actually I was all of my entire course load was actually via online.
Hmm.
So I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I actually, some people are fans of it, some people are not fans of it online. I loved it. I loved every aspect of it just because I could go about it at my own rate. So I wish I could make it out there to Parker to check out the campus, but I'm enjoying everything from afar right now.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to make it out there. I have heard some amazing stuff about the Parker campus, particularly the Performance Center. So, what are you
Yeah.
going to be doing with that degree? What's your plan with the knowledge that you've
Oh
gained?
man. um, I have several friends that are at number one. I'm a nerd, so I like talking a whole lot. So if I do get to talking a lot, please tell me to, and we'll move on to the next one. But I've got some friends that are instructors slash professors at the colleges here and are looking into having me in for guest lectures. But other than that, working with local high schools, on a little bit of a more intimate level, being able to converse that much better with the trainers, with the other providers that are there. But overall, I would say that it just gives me a more um, well-rounded knowledge base about how to approach the entity itself of human performance, from the physiology aspects of it, from
Yeah, it's
the
amazing.
next.
Parker was so wonderful to offer these scholarships, and same for Logan. Just two wonderful,
Yeah.
really great institutions that have supported FIX for a period of time. Chiara, tell us a little bit about your experience. You've had a lot of life changes lately because I see you on Instagram all the time. I love following you. It's really fun. But how did you weather the storm with everything going on in your life?
I recently got married. I had to postpone my last unit. I'm also doing the Masters in Strength and Human Performance, like Chris did,
Mhm.
and I was able to postpone my capstone unit, which I'm about to embark on in about a month.
Mhm.
Wedding planning and studying and doing all the usual was a little bit interesting, but no, it was just a bit of a whirlwind getting it done. Like Chris said, I'm doing it obviously by distance. I'm in Australia, so trying to get everything sort of done meant early hours, late hours, but I could at least fit it in around a normal work schedule. And a lot of the professors and the lecturers were relatively understanding as well of the time difference difficulties, and then obviously having to postpone the last unit for the wedding and all of that. So no, they've been really great. I also haven't been on campus, but might see if I can sneak there for graduation. We'll see what we can do.
Mhm. That would be really great. So, how has this education shaped the way that you're going to approach clinical care, or can you say that it has?
Yeah, I think there were some very interesting units and components to units as well. Some of it is stuff that I have been using or been interested in previously, and just sort of to explore that a little bit deeper has been really good. I also lecture at Murdoch University, so it's been good because I can sort of provide a different sort of rounded approach, which sort of mirrors a little bit what exercise science sort of approaches. And whether it's teaching the students, whether it's me in clinical practice or at a sporting event, I think it's important that we speak the same language and understand sort of the components of what an exercise physiologist might be doing, what a chiro, physio, a rehab professional, all these sorts of things sort of might be, so that we can sort of speak the same language and get on board on what everyone's roles are and how we can sort of facilitate the athlete better.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on the money with that. The more thinking about strength and performance, the more reading I do. And Chris, this is the nerd group, by the way. In this group we're probably all self-admitted nerds, right? But nerds rule the world, by the way. I just
you see that? You see what's behind me right now. Right. So I'm not lying.
I see it too. But I think that the more I read, particularly on kinetic chain stuff, if you don't have strength training in with that with your plan, your treatment plan, your corrective treatment plan, everything else falls apart. So I think it's such a valuable focus as far as, getting your master's in. So congratulations to you. Hey, Steve, I know that you've done a bunch of stuff also, and congratulations. Tell everybody a little bit about the prestigious award you got on graduation, which we're so proud of you, and such a good representative, not only for FIX, but also for the profession.
Thank you, Chris. So, Logan University was an absolutely incredible facility. It was something that was really outstanding, that I really just, everybody is supportive. There was just an amazing program where you built they build a foundation around you, which was absolutely incredible. So one big discovery on my side is that I discovered that I had an underlying learning disability that wasn't ever discovered through my studies. And through support and care with Logan University, they actually picked up on my dyslexia and helped me and assisted with it. And from there, there were quite a few awards. The one that really stood out for me was achieving distinction status, which was the biggest factor to me. And then what Logan University does do, which is something that really does help a hell of a lot, is that they put together these award systems through it that stand by the pillars of Logan University. So the one that really struck me and I was very surprised to receive was the it's I can't think of the word, but it's an outreach award, which is quite amazing, and especially where the direction of what I want to go to is an outreach status with this learning. So it was something that was amazing and really onerous to receive. So excited to receive it when it finally comes here. But it's been a great journey.
I've been on the Logan campus a few times, and it is amazing and beautiful. And the people there are just absolutely amazing. It really is a very, very, forthcoming institution that really has a great vision in front of it, so tell me about your specialty, your focus in your master's, and tell us a little bit about how that might shape or change how you treat patients in the future.
So I was very lucky to have quite a wide selection, but the biggest one that stepped out for me was the MSSR program. So that was the Masters in Sports Science and Rehabilitation. And Chris, I got to also confess, I'm also one of them nerds. I love it and very happy to be one. I am a sports field nerd, so I do end up being the guy on the sidelines who likes to kind of like tinker and fiddle and tell athletes exactly what I see and help them along with that. But the big part that I've kind of worked around with that MSSR is the biomechanics component. And my passion is biomechanics, and my passion is using biomechanics as a tool for diagnosis. So my biggest goal with using this program is to get into education and get further into education and help a lot of the guys who are working on the sports field grow and learn how to actually use biomechanics as a quick and easy tool to help diagnose conditions that they seeing in or on the sports field in acute sports trauma and build up on it. So it is something that is quite relevant when it comes to FIX education. And Christine, I mean, with our journey working together for many, many years, it is something quite important that we kind of focus on, especially with unifying knowledge worldwide when it comes to education. So definitely my biggest tool that I'm taking from Logan is going into that education component. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a big growth towards biomechanics, and hopefully get good guys going out there and being quick on diagnosis.
Yeah, it's so true. Biomechanics is such a huge part of not only looking at injury, but detecting where the injury is coming from, the why of an injury. So not always just looking at chasing pain, but finding the cause. So biomechanics is really the underlying factor.
Absolutely.
For that. That's something that I personally love to geek out
on. And identifying those. Yeah, and also identifying those mechanisms of injury before anybody else does. And I think all of us here who have got experience in teaching, all our biomechanics students are rolling their eyes right now, busy going, oh, really, is it that relevant? And I think when you see the fun part of biomechanics, it does make a big difference.
Yeah, it's true. It's like finding the fun part of physics, right? It's there. You just have to look for it. Well, Kylie, way over from New Zealand. You're still in New Zealand, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations to you on your master's as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your program and how that might have changed your perspective on the way you approach patient care?
Yes, I was awarded the same scholarship as Chris in the first one. And I completed the Masters of Strength and Human Performance just recently. I was able to take a nice big break in there as I turned 40. So that I was lucky to have about 3 months off studying. I think the program was awesome. As we've all kind of mentioned, we're all nerds and we love continuing and forever learning. So I think education is high on the value list. In regards to it changing practice, I think one of the main things that it drew my attention was checking my bias. I think that doing that level of study, it helped me understand that I do have bias and to really kind of bring and check that when I'm with patients. So that's probably one of the major things that I learned from the program.
So when you mean check your bias, tell me a little bit more about that.
I just meant, we see the world through a lens, and that continuing to study at a certain level helps you check if that lens is still accurate. Mm-hmm. So continuing to learn and understand and stay up to date with science is really important and stay evidence-based. I did my first sport and exercise science degree in 2001. So it's really interesting to go back and do a master's in sport and exercise science, essentially, and see what has changed and what not has changed. And obviously being a strength athlete and having a lot of experience under the bar and bringing all those worlds together and enabling with all that kind of knowledge to bring that back to my clinical practice has been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think that, really taking the education and, as you said, removing the bias, or I always say looking at things from different lenses, really is to the patient advantage, right? I think you all could kind of comment on, looking at things from one perspective and then another perspective. And now with this new education, you can step back from a third lens and say, wow, like I didn't even think of looking at injuries in this way. Mm-hmm. So Chiara, I know that you do some instructing. Tell me a little bit about how the education that you got in this master's degree through the FIX Scholarship is going to relate to the students that you're working with.
I think in a similar way to what Kylie was just mentioning, it's just having that sort of more rounded approach to looking at it from the perspective of perhaps, your strength and conditioning coaches that you might encounter in a team arena. You might sort of be thinking about how to manage them if they don't have access to that kind of care and giving them some of that, directive. So some of the units that I teach are sort of the orthopedic testing and management of some, limb conditions, some of the technique classes and things like that. So having that other lens to look through basically just means that I can sort of relay that to students so they do get that more rounded approach, perhaps more so than otherwise the curriculum would have dictated. I also try to bring that experience into when we are working with teams, if I can have some students along at some of the events and things like that, making sure that they also see that side of the profession and that side of the work that we do or can work with.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing about continuing education at this level in each of your careers is that your two hands become many. You know, as you work with students or you work with athletes, or, you know, your two hands, you know, feed in, and that just elevates our profession in so many ways, not only to future students, but future coaches that you might be working with, and mostly future athletes. Chris, tell me a little bit about your FIX background, because, you know, this is a FIX scholarship, obviously, and that's all a topic near and dear to our heart, working with this really wonderful international organization. Tell us a little bit about your kind of past history with FIX. Chris, can you hear me? Anybody else hear me?
It was breaking up. It was going in and out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Tell us a little bit about your affiliation with FIX through this FIX scholarship. Steve, do you want to jump in since Chris is a little bit broken up?
Oh, Lord, I'm so sorry. I literally can't.
No problem. So my history is quite lengthy. I'll try to shorten it up as best as possible. But essentially, I got involved with FIX through the hands-on seminars, which happened in South Africa in 2016, and went through the upper and lower limb hands-on seminars and straight into my the ICCSP. And that opened up a door. I saw a call out to apply for the World Games in Wrocław in Poland, and took a chance and ended up being selected for it, which was an absolutely amazing experience. Actually, got to meet Chiara there amongst other friends, and we built this friendship and family from there. I mean, Chris, you were also there. I've actually got a beautiful old picture of myself busy being Mr. Overeager. It's funny, I've got the nickname of Porter Steve when it comes to my family, because I'm always carrying the luggage. So there I am, busy holding 4 chiro beds and busy running to the vehicle. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. Wrocław was just something really special. And again, just really, what FIX really kind of stands for is bringing us all together and unifying us as sports chiropractors. And the friendships and the family that we make from it is just something really special. Immediately after that, just kind of where we're discussing and we get to really kind of relay information across each other, I got invited to join the Education Commission. With at that stage Tim Stark was running it, and that was just an incredible experience from 2017 being able to work through. Then from that point, things got quiet around COVID, and Chris, you took over the chair position of Education Commission, and I worked closely with you for many of the projects, especially creating content and information, and also focusing a lot on the sports diversity modules, which those sports diversity modules really are the biggest eye-openers when it comes to understanding what sports really means in communities, especially in underprivileged communities where people, the only way that they can really get a source of income or getting out of their economic climates is through sport. So it was just an absolutely incredible program to work with you. And then from there, we 2018 completed the conversion into the ICSC. And COVID kind of set things back. And now we're relaunching everything, and especially in South Africa, where a lot of events, we're very lucky in South Africa, where we're one of the few countries in the world where you can have sports 365 days of the year outside because the weather is that good. So we've had great competitions like the IPF, which was something that was really special. That's the International Powerlifting Federation, which is really near and dear to South Africa. And every South African sports chiro tries to get involved, especially with FIX. So we've really built a foundation on our NSCs there. In 2023, last year, I was very privileged to be invited to go to Beersheba, Israel, to go work at the JJIF World Cup in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, non-gi and gi fighting. And this was just before the war broke out. And yeah, beautiful place. Sad to hear what's going on there. But from that point, we've just finished now. I headed up a conference where we had the fixed sports chiropractors working at the newly signed FISU, which is the squash union. FISU, who had the World Students World Cup here in Johannesburg, which was an amazing 8 days of competition that the squash players were having, and from all over the world. And we were managed to really rally up all the sports chiros who came in, worked beautifully, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing to have these guys come in and work so nicely together.
You know what? I know that your fix, because you and I have been in the Education Commission for years, and your fix experiences really just speaks to the wonderful family that we have. And those of you that are listening that want to be a part of this really terrific organization of Fix, please reach out. And I'm sure there'll be a link in the bio notes to reach out and get in touch and join us. Come out and join us on the sidelines for some games and some education. Kylie, before we wrap up, I know we're running a little bit long. I know you were helping out with our New Zealand hands-on module just as COVID was kind of winding down a bit, and we had to postpone New Zealand a few times. I was excited to maybe get out there, but that didn't work out because COVID happened. But you were there. Tell us just briefly a little bit about the hands-on experience that somebody could expect when they attend a hands-on module.
We recently had the seminar here in Auckland, which I was an instructor in training. We will be, usually the seminars are run with an upper extremities and then a lower extremities module. So we're going through adjustments to each of those joints, how to assess, how to analyze, looking at kinetic chain. If it's the lower body, for example, we'll be looking at hip, knee function, specific adjustments, anatomy, hand positioning. Those are the types of things that you get at a hands-on seminar.
Terrific. I want to say congratulations to each of you for really dedicating your brain and your time to furthering our profession, because as we elevate our education, we also elevate our profession as well. And I really appreciate you guys each taking the time away from friends and family and personal time to invest in learning, and that way that can move on to your patients and athletes and then the students that some of you are working with. And I wanted to just extend that congratulations for our Fix Scholarship recipients. And I look forward to seeing each of you at future events and working together, hopefully in the future. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.